Joining us now to talk about some of the local statistics and services provided in our community are two people who have worked in the field of literacy for many years. They are Betty Stauffer, the Executive Director of Literacy Volunteers of Tucson, and Nancy Ledeboer, the Director of the Pima County Public Library System. Thank you very much for joining us.
Nice to be here.
Betty, let's begin with you. If you could give us a little bit about the history of Literacy Volunteers. Obviously a significant year this year.
It is. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary. And historically, there were two literacy volunteer organizations, the oldest one of which was started in 1961 by Betty Fry. And they did English language acquisition for adults and basic literacy for adults. And as the years went by, they both found they were both doing both of those things, and resources were scarce. So in 1999, they merged to become who we are today, Literacy Volunteers of Tucson.
Great. And Nancy, obviously the libraries play a significant role in what they're doing. Can you tell us about that connection?
Absolutely. It's a logical connection. We want people who can read, and so we work with literacy volunteers. For many years, their tutors have met with students in our libraries, in our study rooms, learning to read, and we realized we needed to offer more. So we now work with literacy volunteers to offer classes in our libraries, and they train volunteers, and they provide the quality control and the education for the tutors who come and offer classes in many of our libraries.
One of the people that we interviewed was at the library,
Great.
And she says the great thing about being there is that there's inspiration all around you.
Right, and for people who maybe struggled with reading, a library can be an intimidating place. So by having them come with their tutor, helping them get a library card, showing them the wealth of materials there, it's a win-win for us, for the student, and for literacy volunteers.
All right, Betty, if you could tell us about how Literacy Volunteers of Tucson works. Tell us about the staff members and the volunteers that are involved.
Yeah, the staff that does the training and supervising and supporting of our tutors are all professional. 3 of our staff have masters in adult education. They've been working from anywhere from 12 to 20 years in the field, so they're highly skilled and lots of experience. So as a volunteer comes in, they go through a 12-hour training that one of these professionals supervises and teaches, and then they're assigned either to a class at a library or to a one-on-one or to some of the small basic literacy classes that we do in our office. And then they're supported by those professionals all the way along, so they're not just thrown out into the community.
You have hundreds of volunteers and only 10 and a half full-time employees. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we had 1,900 students last year. We had 350 volunteer tutors, and our staff is 10 and a half if you cut them into full-time equivalents.
Okay. And Nancy, obviously you have been in the library system for many years. You worked in Las Vegas before you came here. Mm-hmm. What do you want to say about the importance of reading, of achieving a certain level in order to be successful in our community?
Well, we view literacy as the key to economic success, that someone who has the confidence to be able to read and do math and use computers, because literacy goes beyond just being able to read, it's also being able to read to learn. So that if you get a new job or you take on a new opportunity in life, that you can educate yourself. And that's what libraries are about, is giving people the access to information and resources so they can continue to be lifelong learners. But if you don't have the fundamental skills to be able to read, you get left behind. So that's why we think it's very important. We partner with literacy volunteers. We also partner with groups that tutor children and provide families and family literacy, early literacy. So it's about creating a community that is a literate community where everyone can thrive.
And Betty, there are some high costs associated with people who can't attain those levels. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, definitely. I did some sort of extrapolation of numbers based on what we know about healthcare costs and incarceration costs and welfare costs, and determined that if we could magically, just wave a magic wand and everyone in the state of Arizona was suddenly fully literate, it would save our state about $3.5 billion a year. And that's about our deficit, I think, right now, isn't it?
Because we have about 20% of our population that's not reading.
That's our best estimate, yeah, at least 20%.
Okay. And Nancy, you wanted to talk about the upcoming book festival. Can you tell us about that,
Absolutely. Please? The Tucson Festival of Books is a wonderful way for the community to get engaged in literacy. They can come and volunteer at the festival. They can come and celebrate books, reading authors. And the great part about it is that the Tucson Festival of Books, as as a 501c3 nonprofit, has raised money that then goes to support literacy programs like literacy volunteers in our community. And this year, for the 50th anniversary, we've invited Famous Amos. You may have eaten some of his cookies, you know, the little chocolate chip cookies in the Famous Amos bag. Well, he is the perfect example of an adult who struggled to learn to read, got his GED as an adult, and now he's not only doing well in his company, but he's giving back by sharing the experience of what it was to be an adult who struggled and then who got his GED through literacy programs. So he's a great spokesperson, and he'll be here in Tucson. He'll be visiting many of the programs at LVT, and he'll be speaking at the book festival.
And Betty, one of the things that came up when I was interviewing one of the adult readers is that factor of shame. You just mentioned Famous Amos, but you have to get over that hump where you really want to go out there and seek some help.
Yeah, there's a real stigma attached to it. There's no doubt about that. But I would encourage any adult who is struggling, it's so worth it. You know, just take that leap, because the doors will open once you start learning.
And what do you want to say about the volunteers? What's required of a person who maybe sees this segment and wants to help out?
Our tutors do meet with their students twice a week, so there is some time commitment. If a volunteer is interested, they can go to our website, lovetoread.org, and it's pretty well spelled out there. And then they can attend a volunteer orientation to learn more.
And they go out to libraries? Do they go to the people's homes? How does that
No,
work?
it's all done in public places, so either in a library or a coffee shop. We tutor one-on-one as well as in classes, so any public place that's convenient for both the tutor and the student.
Okay, and Nancy, I know there's some work been going on recently at some of the libraries. We have just a few seconds. We were into Wilmot. It looks really nice. Tell us about that,
Wilmot
please.
is a bond renovation project that we just completed, opened it up the day before Valentine's Day. So I like to think of the library as the Valentine to the community. The Wilmot Library is back fully open now.
And more plans for the near future, for more growth?
Well, we would love to, but we need support from the voters to approve a bond issue, and we need people to step up in our community and help support literacy in all levels.
Okay, Betty and Nancy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.